Okay, well, welcome everyone to our Tuesday talks. I am really excited that you all are able to join us. I am Jessica Rosenblatt, the Executive Director of the Ohio Arts Professionals Network. We host our Tuesday talks. We kicked these off in August of 2020 when the pandemic hit, and we've been offering these to our entire arts community for free over the past year. And we just made the switch and turned our Tuesday Talks into a member benefit. So thanks for your membership and thanks for joining us. I'm really excited today because we have the extreme pleasure to hear from Melanie from Bandzoogle. Bandzoogle is a website platform created for musicians by musicians. I personally became connected to Bandzoogle quite a few years ago. Outside of OAPN, my wife is a musician, and we've been doing the music business work together for a long time. And we had built other websites on Wix platforms, and like I did a whole HTML thing, which I wasn't even very good at. And then we learned about Bandzoogle, and it was such a great platform. They make it super easy. I think the website's great. And the most important part was the store. So many of the other Wix platforms would have a store option and they would take so much money. So Bandzoogle has actually been just like the most cost effective, the easiest to use. And they're always there to help us on chat if we ever need it. So I love Bandzoogle, and I think it was super cool that Dave Cool, who is actually the VP, the
Yeah.
VP of the organization, that is his real name. We met at a Folk Alliance conference a couple years back, and we stayed connected. And it's always exciting when somebody from a big company messages you back and and they stay connected. And so then he introduced me to Melanie, and Melanie will be hosting our webinar today. And I'll give you a little description of who Melanie is, and then I'll have her go right into the presentation. So Melanie Keeley is the communications manager at music website platform Bandzoogle. She regularly writes blog posts with helpful website tips for musicians, as well as manages the company's social media. Melanie is also an artist manager, managing the career of singer-songwriter and husband, Tyler Keeley. So I feel like we have a lot in common there, Melanie. I will let you go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Nice to meet you guys. I'm up here in Canada. The last webinar I gave, a few people were commenting on my accent, which I don't really notice, but hope you don't mind. So yeah, I've been working for Bandzoogle for 10 years now. I've been doing communications for the last 3 or so years, and I love it. I have a personal connection, obviously. My husband's a musician, and we used Bandzoogle for years and years as well before I got involved in the company. Bandzoogle's been around for 17 years. And ever since the beginning, our founder was a musician, and his goal was always to keep musicians in mind. So a big part of that was offering the store, offering e-commerce tools commission free to artists, and always trying to help artists succeed. And you can kind of see that throughout our support team, which is all made up of musicians too. And we love giving these sort of talks and webinars and reaching out to musicians for just sort of a personal connection. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. So we'll just talk about building a website. We'll look at some examples. I'm going to go over what Bandzoogle offers really quick, some design tips, and then we'll look at specific page examples, about page, EPK, and things like that. So if you guys can all see my screen, we'll get started. Just quickly, a little bit more detail about Bandzoogle. We're a website and direct-to-fan marketing platform. And one of the great things about Bandzoogle is that it's really easy to build a website without knowing how to code. You don't need to know HTML. We take care of all of that in the background for you. I don't know if you guys have websites or not. If you don't and you want to try it, we have a promo code for you guys. It's here, OPAN15, and it'll get you a 3-month free trial. You can try out all the features. And then if you sign up to a paid plan, it's 15% off the first year. So along with your website, we also offer a domain name registration. If you already have your .com address, you can transfer it over and make it load a website that you build with Bandzoogle. And also included in all of our plans is hosting. So you don't have to worry about hosting. It's all part of the plan. We also have different music players from which you can stream your music. You can offer free downloads. You can sell your music directly through the players, commission free. You can choose to set a price, or you can let your fans pay what they want per track or per album. You can add your lyrics to any of your songs. There's a bunch of different file formats you can upload depending on what you're doing with your music. You can import from SoundCloud to get your music player set up quickly. You can also set up album pre-orders. And on our Pro plan, we report all sales to SoundScan. We have a really great calendar feature as well, which you can use to sell tickets to your shows. You can sell tickets to your live streams as well if you're doing that. You can add images into your events, so it makes a nice sort of display on your shows page in the calendar. These events are shareable, so you can quickly blast them out to social media or in your email newsletter. You can also set recurring events. If you have a live show every week or a live stream that you're playing every week, you can set that up quickly to repeat. And you can also use different calendars to highlight different dates on your website. We do have a mailing list feature built in. You can use that to send newsletters. You can schedule these newsletters ahead of time. So you just compose it, it goes out when you want it to. And with this, we include reports, things like who's clicked on your links in your newsletters, if an email bounces, and that kind of thing. If you already have a mailing list, you can always import it into Bandzoogle. And same thing if you decide to leave or use a different mailing list service, you can export those addresses and always keep them with you. So our commission-free store, which is one of our most popular features, of course, you can sell pretty much anything you want. There's options built in for CDs, records, t-shirts, merch. You can also sell digital files like sheet music, videos, guitar tabs, things like that. You can set up discount codes, add sale pricing, and on our Pro plan, you can add inventory tracking as well. Print on demand merch is a feature we added just within the last few months. You can use this to connect to Printful. And if you do that, you can sell your t-shirts and merch to your fans directly. Printful will drop ship the items when your fan orders them. So you don't have to store, boxes of t-shirts in your basement and go to the post office and send them out anymore. And when you connect with Printful, I'll show you an example later, but it basically seamlessly imports these items into your store. So it doesn't look like Printful items plus CDs and vinyl. Everything is the same on the page. It all matches really nicely. Here's a quick example of a store with some merch items from Printful. And if you were to have other items in this store, they would look the same font. Everything would sort of flow together nicely on the page. Our tip jar feature is one that we added within the last year. You can accept donations of any amount through your tip jar. You can add it to any page you want or multiple pages, and you can connect it to PayPal or Stripe. So the money doesn't come to us. We don't send it to you. You connect to PayPal or Stripe, and the money people donate goes directly into your bank account or your PayPal account. You can also set up crowdfunding with Bandzoogle if you're trying to crowdfund a new project like a video, an album, of course. You can set up pre-orders. You can bundle your music digitally with CDs or vinyl. These sales are also reported to SoundScan when you release your album. And you can set up custom merch bundles, experiences, take donations of any amount on your crowdfunding page. And a nice thing about Bandzoogle is you can actually keep your fans updated without leaving the interface. You can create a blog on your crowdfunding page. You can send out newsletters. It's all built in. Fan subscriptions is another newer feature we've added, sort of like a Patreon style option, but it's commission free. And if you already have a website, you already have information, music, merch that you can add to your fan subscription offering. You can add any kind of content to your subscriber pages, links to events. You could do a live stream, and you can message your subscribers also using the mailing list tool. You get information on your subscribers as well built in. You can see your monthly sales, and their email addresses, of course, will go on your mailing list. Our commission-free store, since we've introduced it, I believe in 2010, our members have made over $75 million. which is amazing. And this is a milestone we've passed recently, or they've passed. And we're really happy that musicians have been able to sell so much online. This has really ramped up in the last couple of years as well. Design options. So if you are looking to build a website or change your theme, you can choose from any of our mobile ready themes and then customize them with your colors, your fonts, and we have tons of options built in for fonts as well. We offer preset pages if you're just starting out. It's a really easy way to get your website up quickly. So for example, if you were to choose the music page, this would be populated with a music player, maybe a text feature, just encouraging you to write a bit about your music. Also, under the hood, we include fan data. It's like Google Analytics. You can use our data, which we created. It's called Bandzoogle data, or you can connect to Google Analytics. It'll show you things like visits to your site, where they're coming from, which pages they're visiting, and what songs they're listening to. And then just to bring in more content quickly, if you want, you can connect your Bandcamp store, your Twitter feed, and things like that, YouTube videos, just to get things set up quickly. Our musician-friendly support, like I mentioned, our support team is primarily made up of musicians, either active musicians or musicians who have, worked in the industry in the past and now work for Bandzoogle. Some do both. They provide email and live chat 7 days a week, and people tell us all the time how much they love our support. The live chat is instantaneous, and they're really, really great. So now we can talk about how to build a professional website for your music. This is an example of a jazz singer with a really great image. So when you're starting to build your website, or if you have a website already, when you're trying to think of the content and the reasons to make your website, these are the 4 reasons that you want to drive fans to your website. The first reason is that you own it. You own the address. It's your .com. People can always find you there. Social media might come and go. It might be a bit of a mess with, different things in the news feed. This is yours. You curate it. You add all the content, and you sort of present the experience the way you want it to be presented. Your fans can always find you there. And you own that experience. You can add any kind of design you want, any kind of imagery, any kind of content. There's no ads. There's no cat videos. It's all yours. You also own the data. You can see where your fans come from, which is a really handy thing if you're thinking about advertising or doing a live stream. You can see if you have fans coming to your site from Facebook or different parts of the internet, from Google. You can see what people are looking for. And you also own your email list, of course. And the 4th reason is that you earn more money by selling directly through your website. So when you're designing your website, you want to keep the audience in mind: potential fans, current fans, and industry in the media. You want to make sure you include content for each of these types of audiences. So your potential fans, you want to make sure they know who you are. You want to pretend they've never met you or seen you before. Put your best song or video up front, which is just a nice way to sort of introduce yourself, sonically or with a video, to give them an impression of what you sound like. And then you want to try to get them on your mailing list. Email is huge. It's a much more effective way of getting in touch with people than social media necessarily. And you can try to get people on your mailing list by offering music or exclusive content. Your current fans. So for your current fans, you want to talk about what's new. These people, you can assume, already know who you are, so you can keep them up to date. Let's say they're visiting your website again. You want to offer them something a little different. Could be a blog post, a new photo gallery, could be new products. If you have crowdfunding or fan subscriptions, you want to make sure your current fans know about that. And you also want to get these people on your mailing list to keep in touch with them. When it comes to industry and the media, you want to make sure you include your latest activity and what sets you apart. You also want to put your best song or video up front. And for this audience, you want to include a really great press kit. I'll show you an example of a press kit page in a bit, but on your press kit, you'll want to include a short bio, high quality images, your best music, a video, some press quotes, your career highlights, and contact information on this page. Now, when it comes to design, I think sometimes there's a bit of the idea that templates can be cookie cutter or they all look the same. This has changed a lot in the last while. There's a lot of flexibility now. You can design something that really suits your style and your sound. And using a template is important because it'll adapt to mobile. You don't need to code. You can update it quickly and easily just by typing in text or updating your images. And you can customize your template, different colors, different images, different sections, according to your style or your genre of music. Choosing a template might be tricky if you're just starting out. So here are a few things to keep in mind. What kind of image are you working with? If you have a really big, really nice header image, you might want to choose a template that showcases that. What kind of menu do you need? Are you going to be adding tons of pages? Are you going to need subpages? Or maybe you're just setting up a quick EPK and you won't need as much of a menu. How much content will you add? What kind of music do you play? And what is your current branding like? So if you want to kind of follow through with what you have now, you can choose a template that speaks to that. So when you're getting started, this is the kind of content you'll want. Or if you already have a website, you can just sort of make sure you're checking off all these boxes. A great main image that really sort of showcases your vibe, gives people a good impression of what you sound like just by looking at it. Professional photos throughout your website. Some really good music, of course, a video or two, and some text. You want to have some news and your bio.
Melanie,
when you're rallying,
interrupt you too. First off, this is all extremely great information because even as somebody that uses Bandzoogle, I didn't even know of all these updates. So this is great. I just want to put this out really quick because I know a couple of people were commenting. I wonder who on this call already has Bandzoogle. So just going to launch this really quick so we have an idea. So please just let us know if you currently use Bandzoogle or if you don't.
It popped up for me and I put yes.
Okay, good.
I do though. My husband uses it and I'm always helping him update it, which is nice to really see things under the hood all the time, especially as we add new features.
Great. Well, yeah. So I would also be another one, but apparently it doesn't let me take the poll myself. So three out of 9. So that's not bad. Okay, good. 7 of you folks that know nothing about this. This is fantastic. Proceed. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, by all means. And if you want to interrupt again, like totally go for it. All good. So yeah, we were just talking about photos, professional photos. I do see sometimes when I'm looking at websites, quick snaps, iPhone photos, a bit grainy. It can create a negative impression of your music sort of before somebody even wants to listen to it. And you just want to make sure that this visual touch is addressed when you're making a website. It's a great idea to get some promotional photos taken and then use those for your header, for your background, and that kind of thing. Okay, so when it comes to colors for your website, generally you want to stick to 3 major colors. Your primary color, which is your brand color, a contrasting secondary color, and a third accent color to complement the other 2. When you think about an accent color, it could be the play button or a mailing list sign up form and button, something that stands out but still works with your design. Typography is something that people don't always think about. With our templates, our designer releases new templates. He comes up with 4 different versions of design assets, I would call it. So different section colors, a font, an accent color, and you can just use these in Go and they look really good. Or you can choose your own fonts, of course, especially if you already have some that you like to use. But we definitely recommend you avoid sort of wacky looking ones. You don't want to use overused fonts, and you want to make sure there's a high contrast between font color and background. You want to make sure it's easy to read. Use center text sparingly. Left aligned text just looks a lot cleaner. And you don't want to use caps much, maybe in a heading or a section title, but in the actual body font text of your website, you want to keep it pretty simple. So mobile friendly websites. All of our websites are mobile friendly. They adapt automatically. You don't have to do anything. I can't remember when we made this update, I guess, when mobile was exploding, but as you probably know, digital media is consumed on mobile devices now, probably more so than desktop devices. People are always on their tablets and their phones. And for that reason, the mobile experience has to be seamless. Your fans have to be able to find your content easily on their phone, and your e-commerce options have to work perfectly on mobile devices as well. Google actually made a mobile friendly update a few years ago now, which boosts websites and different pages in their mobile search rankings. So if your page is not mobile friendly and someone's searching for it on their phone, it won't come up as high in the search results. Your menu is something you want to think about when you're creating your website. You want to make sure your navigation is easy. You don't want to have too many main menu items. You want to make it easy for people to arrive at your website, see what they need, click, they're there. And when they get there, you want to make sure that each page has its own clear purpose. Your music page should have music. You don't want to muddy it up with a bunch of other stuff. You want to make sure each page is very clear. And along with that, you want to make sure the names are really simple. So somebody gets to your website, either they don't know who you are or they do, but it's easy for them to navigate their way around based on your page names. So these are the 8 essential pages that we recommend you add to your website: your homepage, your about page, your music page, a shows page, photos and or videos page, a store page, a press kit page, and a contact page. If you're offering other things, if you have a subscriptions service, you can always have a subscriptions page. If you're a music teacher, maybe you want to have a lessons page, but you could swap these out or have a longer menu depending on what you need for your website. On your homepage, you want to include a great header image, create a really good impression of yourself. We do have some templates that don't come with header images. So these work really well for people who don't have that A+ image that really shows them off. I think I have an example of one coming up, maybe. But you still want to include a photo on your homepage just for some visual interest. Along with that, you want to include a short bio, which is great for people who don't know who you are. Music and or a video right on your homepage, and some news for your existing fans. And you want to update that regularly. A blog feature works great to do that, plus some social media links. A homepage essential, we call it, is a call to action. This directs your visitors to take a specific action. So if you're trying to build up your mailing list, you can add a mailing list sign up form right in the header part of your website, right over top of your image. If you're trying to get people to listen to your new album, your new single, make a purchase, or watch a video, for example, you put that in your homepage call to action. This is an example of a call to action for this artist. She has an album coming out. Or it's already out, looking at the date, but I really like her main image. So she's a great example, and you can click to pre-order her album. So if you were to click on that, it would take you to her music page where you could pre-order it. And look at this nice website, beautiful image. It really tells her story right at a glance. And you can see the menu is really nice and simple as well.
You're so nice. It's so funny. I was looking at ours and I was like, oh, I have to fix that Patreon. Ours is terrible right now, but you're nice. Thank you.
That image is really great though. It's like super, like it tells her story just by looking at her, you know?
Thanks.
That's key. Yeah. So your about page. This is a really important page. I think a lot of people create their about page and sort of forget about it. I would recommend checking yours out at least every 6 months just to make sure it's totally up to date. You have to remember some people are discovering you and coming to your website. They don't know anything about you. This is the page they might go to. And you want to make sure that they know everything about you, including your most recent achievements. So on your about page, you can include your short bio. You can add a full bio plus some photos to sort of complete the story. Offering different bio options is a good idea in case press people are coming to your about page and they might want to copy and paste something. When you're writing your bio, you can use a quote. You can add this right on your page in a different section, or you can work it into your content. You want to mention your background, cover your education, and any recent achievements. And like I said, try to circle back every maybe 6 months. You can circle back every day if you want to, anytime something new happens, and give it a look with a fresh set of eyes. This is a really nice, clean about page example. Sam Wilson, she's a guitarist, which you can see right away from her image. Her bio is really easy to read, and she's got lots of information on there. Your music page. On your music page, you can add your song samples. You can add your full discography in a grid if you want. Lyrics, you can offer a track in exchange for an email address, music for sale. And one thing that I don't see often enough, but I really enjoy is context on this page. Information about your albums, information about your experience as a musician. I really find your current fans enjoy reading this. It can also help if the press is coming to your website and they want to copy and paste a little bit about your music. You can have that there. You've created it and written it, and it makes it really easy for them to help promote you. You can also offer links to your streaming services on this page just to make it easy for people to find you on their preferred service. If you don't have music yet, or you don't have music you want to put on here necessarily, maybe you're running a pre-order campaign or something like that, you can add videos. This is a music page example. I believe this is a Canadian duo. They have their music here for download. You can see their music player. It's really easy to read. And they've actually created a page using their album art, which is kind of neat, the background, and then the album art stands out against it. A shows page. I'm not sure how many people are still playing live shows right now, but you can definitely add shows coming up if you have things booked. You can add live stream concerts. You can sell tickets to either or both directly through your website. You can also use this page to show different events that you've played in the past. You can add posters, you can add imagery. I always like to see a little bit more information on this page as well, photos or videos of you performing live. So if somebody wants to attend a live stream in the future, or maybe they want to come see you at a live show and that's all happening again, this might hook them in and sort of compel them to attend your show. Oh, this is the example I was thinking of that doesn't have a header image. It's a background image and just his title sort of front and center. And then he has the nice sort of wash of purple in his section. That's an option if you don't have that sort of wow image. He does have an image in the background. You could keep that simple just with a color or a texture or something like that if you wanted to. Photos page. On your photos page, you'll want to include your official photos, your promotional photos. A photos page is really handy for fans who like to look at all your candid photos, different shows you've performed at, different things you've done. It's also nice for the press if they want some options to come to this page. And you can combine it with the videos page as well if you don't have a lot of photos. You could always have a separate videos page if you have a lot of videos. Here's a photos page example. This artist is using, I think it's called the tiled layout, tiled gallery layout. You can upload all your photos and then set the layout for your gallery. So this is sort of a Pinterest style modern look. You can also have little grid squares, or you could create a slideshow. You don't have to upload your photos every time. It just sort of formats them however you want. So you can change things up. If you do want to have a videos page, it's really easy to embed your content, your YouTube videos. You just paste in the link and it will stream on your videos page. You can add context to this page as well. If there's information you'd like people to know about the video, maybe how often it was viewed, or the inspiration behind it, if it goes along with your latest single and that kind of thing, you can add some text on the page. And you can rotate your videos out regularly. This is really helpful, especially if you have a lot of mobile visitors. You don't want to have 50 videos on a page, maybe 6 at the most. Add context and then swap them out regularly. So your store page. On your store page, you want to include a full description of all of your products. You want to include images of all your merch, multiple images if you have them. You can put items on sale to clear out stock or discount codes. And of course, if you decide to sell print on demand instead of tracking inventory and shipping it yourself, you can do that on your store page directly. This store page example is a member selling his music, his vinyl, his CD, his previous works. You can also, of course, sell merch on this page. And a contact page. I do see a lot of websites that have the contact information in the footer. That's great too. The menu, I think, really draws your website visitors' eye. And if they're coming to your page to contact you, maybe they want to book a lesson or book a show or something like that, having the contact page right in the menu, I think helps. And I like to see it as the last page in the menu as well. I think a lot of people are used to seeing it there. So if they want to contact you, that's just an easy way to click. On that page, you want to include your email form. Your visitor will fill that out and it will be emailed to you directly. A mailing list sign up form on that page is sort of a nice last way to get someone to sign up to your email list. And include your social media links on this page as well. Some people might come to your contact page just to find that out, especially if they're promoting you or something like that. Press kit. A press kit page is essentially a digital version of what musicians would send out to venues or festivals to book shows in the past. You can create one that's just an online resume for your career. This is sort of the page that is built for industry professionals. You want them to be able to hear your music, find out everything about you in a concise way, all the highlights about your career on this specific page. So you'll add a bio, you'll add your professional promotional images, music, your video, your social links can go here too. Any reviews of your music or your live show, depending on what you're using your press kit for, possibly both, and your contact information here as well. This is a press kit example of an artist who she just uses color really nicely. She has, you can see her photos are sort of in the same similar color, and then she's using some really bright colors in her sections to set it off the page. She has a single towards the bottom there too. The colors all work really nicely together. This is another example of a press kit page. You can't see much here because it scrolls, but they have some great quotes. A really nice image of themselves that sort of, they're Canadian, of course, in the snow there, but it sort of implies what their music sounds like, which is nice. And yeah, if you guys are thinking this is a lot to take in, I mean, you can watch the recording, of course, but I also created this resource, how to make a music website. If you Google how to make a music website or make a music website, Bandzoogle or something like that, this will pop up. It's just a little bit more in depth about how to build out each page. There's tons of website examples to sort of inspire you or hopefully help you build your own website in a similar way. Here's our social media stuff, of course, if you guys want to check us out or follow us. If you have any questions, bandzoogle.com. There's a little live chat button there where you can reach our support team, which is great. And yeah, one more little display of the promo code here in case you guys do want to try Bandzoogle. If you already have a website, you're welcome to start a free trial, work on it, talk to the support team, try to build it out. There's no commitment. If you decide to sign up, you'll get 15% off the first year, but of course you don't have to. But it's kind of fun to build it out in the trial phase and to see what you can do and see if it works for you. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This is great. Melanie, thank you. Again, well, so Mr. Mojo and myself, obviously we both use it. So this is a great refresher of what's been going on. I personally, running that website has been, we haven't done much in the past year. So this is great. I put the code also in the chat, just noting it's OAPN 15. So the chat thing is correct. So please use that, and we will send out this recorded version as well. It'll be available once you log into your website page. Jerry and I were talking on the chat, and one thing that he mentioned was he has a roster of about 40 artists from across from a lot of different areas. Do you, would this work for him? Is there a way that he could utilize a site that would benefit? Oopsie, but that would benefit him.
Yes, we do have some agencies that use Bandzoogle. We have a lot of record labels too, actually. And there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can create your homepage with an image of each artist. And then when the artist's image is clicked on, it would bring you to their sort of press kit page for each one. And you can add whatever you want to those pages. You could also create a menu. Maybe it says artists, and then there's a big drop down list or several menu items, depending on how many you want to add to each one. But you could build them out each their own, like a press kit page or a profile page, and add new information to that, new releases and that kind of thing.
Awesome. Mr. Mojo, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I'm going to try to speak with my mic open like this, but we're in the midst of a Louisiana thunderstorm, so if it's interrupted by noise, I apologize. We switched to Bandzoogle this year, but we have a tremendous amount of experience. Our first website went up in 1988. And in the early 90s, we created a full HTML site that really survived until this past year.
Wow.
We had a retro look. We always have had to look different, be different. And I've been looking for some place to migrate to for probably 10 years. Bandzoogle, I happened to see a presentation on it and decided I would give it a shot. So I took the free trial. The first day, I had built the complete website in about 4 hours.
Amazing.
In 5 hours, I was on the chat with their incredible customer service. I mean, like unfreaking believable service and really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I asked them, how do I register my domain with Bandzoogle? And what I've discovered over time is if there's any problem, and there are essentially, I've only found one bug that I don't personally care for in all the time I've been using it. Everything else has been awesome. But if I find something that I'm not comfortable with, they fix it. They implement something new, which is amazing to me. For my friend Jerry, it would be so easy to build an agency website. It'd be a piece of cake. And I'm discovering all kinds of tangential benefits that I had no clue were there. I don't know if they were really designed in, or they just happen to be serendipitous, fabulous things that come out. For example, just 2 days ago, I decided to give away audio clips just to get someone to sign up. And I happened to discover that the link to the music on my site, each individual song comes wrapped in part of the website. When you share the link for the song, you get a mini website with just the song and the sign up on it. I was shocked at how effective that was. The only challenge I've ever found in all the time I've put into the website, which, it's a piece of cake, really. It's a fabulous, I call this a generator, a website generator. You don't have to know any code at all. The only bug that I've found is in the image manipulation, where I can't zoom out far enough sometimes, or basically that's it. I can't zoom out far enough so that I can get the image I want to be used effectively in the frame that's you create. But everything else, I will testify, it's the best tool I've ever encountered in software for our industry. I'm amazed by it every day. Every day. In fact, I was working on it today doing stuff. And what I've also discovered is the search engine optimization is incredible. Everything I've done in Bandzoogle has shown up in Google in about 2 hours. It's amazing.
Yeah, I second that, Mr. Mojo. Absolutely.
Yeah, I highly recommend it, and it's so cheap. The return on investment is enormous.
Oh, that's really great to hear. And I agree, the search engine stuff could almost be its whole a webinar unto itself. There's so much. Um, we tend not to put it in this one, especially if people haven't built a website before. It's a little bit much to think about, when you're just creating your website. But yeah, we have a lot of tools sort of built in behind the scenes to help with that. It's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Jerry, like Mr. Mojo was saying, the ease to build the site is, it really is simple. Especially if you've already worked on other platforms. I think I've always gone from the hardest, and now like Bandzoogle is just the simplest to work with. Mr. Mojo, I agree with the photos. I've noticed that too. I've sometimes had to run some things through Photoshop and make the picture smaller within it so it was right. But otherwise, yeah, the search engine's great. And if you guys want a webinar on SEO, we can absolutely do that too. Just, I'll send out a follow-up email with this link and the link to the code and everything. And if you guys would like that, maybe we can ask Melanie to revisit.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. Let me add one thing that's really important. There are many pieces of software for many applications in many industries that are easy to use, but they're worthless. The stuff that's easy to use in Bandzoogle is ridiculously effective and incredibly valuable. Uh, Pretty much anything I've ever wanted to do on my commercial website is already programmed in. It's a piece of cake. It's essentially a template and a button, and you're done. I'm just overwhelmed. The only thing that I would add consultatively would be some design support. Uh, it's so easy to use. Like the other day, I was trying to decide if I would change my whole theme of my entire website. In Bandzoogle, all you do is select another theme and look at it. You just go through them all. But it would be really nice to have an expert take a look that knows the Bandzoogle templates, all the different templates and themes, that can look at, for example, my website and say, oh, yeah, I think I would recommend you try this theme or that theme. That would be really useful. But for anything in our industry, I found this to be the most effective communication tool and representative tool, website-based tool for our products.
That's great. Our support team does site reviews as well. It's not immediate because it takes a bit of time. But if you write in and request a site review, and you could even specifically say, I'm looking to do a new design, what would you recommend? We have a few members on staff that will go through your website. They'll make some content suggestions, maybe you have too many videos on a page. And we have one or two support team members, Anita is one, that are just really great visually, graphic design. So like I said, you may not get a response for 5 days or something, but they would take a good look at your website and make some recommendations like that. So you could always try that if you wanted to.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Kathy, did you have a question?
Well, I I have a lot of them, but one thing I have a website, but it's old and it's just not good for phones. And I have my hosting and domain name registered through GoDaddy.
Yeah.
And how do you go about transferring from one to Bandzoogle?
So your domain name, you can keep at GoDaddy if you want. A domain name usually costs something like $15 a year. We do include it with our plans. So if you wanted to move it over to us and not pay that $15 anymore, you could. But you could also leave it with GoDaddy. That's fine. What I would do is sign up for a free trial at Bandzoogle, start to build it out. If you run into trouble, contact the support team. They'll even help you move some content over into this new framework if you want. You work on the design, all that stuff. You get a temporary URL. So it might say, kathysmusic.bandzoogle.com. And you can look at your website online that way. Once you're ready to switch, you would sign up to a paid plan with Bandzoogle, and that would take over your hosting. So then you would cancel any hosting you have with GoDaddy and you wouldn't pay them for hosting anymore. That just means the website's hosted at Bandzoogle. So all the files, all the content is on our servers. And you can tell the domain name, which is your .com, where to look. So you would just tell it, look over at Bandzoogle, load that new website when you're ready, and go from there.
Yeah, and I would suggest, Kathy, just having Bandzoogle host everything, moving it from GoDaddy, because once you bypass their savings, if you buy it for like 4 or 5 years, you kind of lose the savings. So it's been so nice dealing with Bandzoogle. They just they set out the reminders, they make the renewal easy, and you wind up having so many other things going on. So it's nice to have it all in one place. I would recommend that.
Yeah. And I should also mention domain and hosting. It's a little bit more technical than a lot of this other stuff. It trips up a lot of people when they're getting started. But the support team will happily hold your hand through it and tell you exactly what to do. So don't be scared. It'll be worth it if you rebuild, and it's mobile friendly. Yep.
Kathy, I will share from experience, migration within the internet of the registration and the URL and all that, and all the codes and addresses, that's a real pain in the neck. And that's one of the hurdles why I didn't want to move to another provider. And when I was convinced, I sent one message to chat, and Bandzoogle has the whole thing automated. You basically push a button, type in what you want, and it takes care of everything. I was blown away.
Okay, that's good to know.
To say any of this, I think you have your next commercial.
Yes,
right.
Yep.
Jerry, what did you have to say?
I'm just curious how pricing is based.
That's something I should maybe add to the presentation here, but I don't like to be too salesy, So we have 3 plans to choose from. And if you go to bandzoogle.com, you can check out the pricing there. It'll go into a bit more detail about what each plan includes. The first one is $10 a month at $9.95, I think. The middle plan is $15 or $14.95, and the pro plan, which includes all the bells and whistles for e-commerce, is the major difference. It's $19.95 a month or $19.99. Anyway, close to $20 a month. If you sign up for a year, you save the equivalent of 2 months worth. So it's, I think, around, let's say you choose the pro plan, it's $200 for the year, something like that. And the light plan's around $100 for the year. And that includes your hosting. It includes your domain name if you want to switch it over, and it includes everything you need in your website, your mailing list. The plans also vary. I guess you can add more pages and more people sign up for your mailing list. So the light plan, I think it's maybe 10 pages, 100 people on your mailing list. But if you start with that plan and then you grow, you can always upgrade to a higher plan and nothing will change. You won't lose any pages, or the same goes if you decide to downgrade. You can make that switch anytime.
I have another question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
I have a mailing list that I've developed that I just, I send out emails to my fans. Can I transfer that directly into Bandzoogle?
Yeah, so depending on who it's with now, you can probably download it as a CSV file, and then you can upload it directly. It'll import right into the mailing list. It's pretty easy to do. It's like a straight transfer of data.
Okay. Sorry, I had to turn away. My phone was ringing and I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Did you get what I said there? Did you hear it?
I
Sort of.
I think what you said basically is that you can transfer it right over.
Yeah. And if you have trouble, again, contact the support team and tell them where it is now. Like if it's in MailChimp, or, if it's in your email inbox, or, people used to bring a sign up form to gigs and people would write their email address on a list, wherever it is, you can move it into your Bandzoogle mailing list.
Okay. Another question. I have I've got my email list saved in a Word document just in case, things get messed up online, but I also save it in, in my contacts and my emails. Which form would be easier to deal with?
I have a feeling the Word document, you might have to paste it into Excel first and then upload the Excel file. But it's possible you can export your contacts as a proper list and upload that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would suggest Excel, Kathy, just that way you can have your first and last name, email, and then if you like track city, state, or country or anything, then usually that will, I haven't done that in a while, but I think that you guys have the option where it's like you can choose first name, last name, and kind of pick your columns, and then it'll,
Yeah, it imports it. Yeah.
Okay, well, my list that I have is just the email addresses, not first,
That's
last
okay
name.
too. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Great. Does anybody else have any other questions? It was really informative. So, you know, and again, hearing from, I think Mr. Mojo and myself, how wonderful the platform has been. And, you know, again, it's really cost effective. As an artist, you know, the store is probably the biggest thing on there. You know, if you ever look at your CD Baby account and you see what they take, you know, it's what you guys do is great. So, and you guys are so cool, and you're running. So, I mean, what more do you want?
Right.
No, so thank you so much. If there are no other questions, we'll call it a day. Let you guys get back to your work. I want to thank Melanie for your time for today, and Bandzoogle for everything that you guys do, and for taking the time to educate our members on what you guys offer. Just a quick note, next Tuesday at 1, we are going to have a special guest visit from Arts Midwest to discuss what's going on with their conference. And we should have more information on our conference happening in October of 2021. So we're really hoping to be able to present to you more. This is a very time-consuming process, and it's the hardest year ever, I think, to nail down actual dates and things. But so please register, tune in 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Tuesday. And at the end of the month for presenters, we'll have, and actually we'll open it up beyond presenters because I think it will be a good one. It's basically how to request money from sponsors and corporate sponsors, which might be really helpful for agents as well. I'll send out an email after this. Once the video is up, we'll have it unlisted on YouTube, and then we'll put it inside your member profile when you log in. I'll make sure everybody has the code. If you have any questions, please let me know. I would be happy to help with Bandzoogle questions, or if you start your free trial, chat with them. They actually probably know more than I do. So Melanie, thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See y'all soon.
It was great.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.